here in Raleigh at NC State with the football team. Super fired up to be here. Excited to get to know these players, this staff, and get all in to create the alignment that wins championships. What do most people think? That in order to be urgent, that comes at the price of you can't be what? Can't be patient. And then other people think that if I'm going to be patient, that comes at the price of, and I can't be, that I have to pick one or the other. The more patient I am, I give up some urgency. And the more urgent I am, I give up some patience. And what I want to press on you guys, and this will lead into some good conversation about from leading and moving this program forward and moving your life forward. I want to impress on you guys, most people view these things as competing with each other, and they put themselves into the wrong mindset. The right mindset, the mindset that works is this. It's knowing what's the scale of urgency and what's the scale of patience. It's a time difference. Urgency operates on what time frame? What's the time frame that we need to say, hey, urgency operates on this time frame? What's the window of time that we want to think about urgency? Day to day, and not even day to day. Just take out the first part. It's just, literally, it's the next 5 minutes to 24 hours. It's urgent as shit. It's go. That's urgent. Patience is over what time scale? The next 24 months. The problem is when we switch that. It's when we try to be urgent about what's going to take 24 months, and we try to squeeze 24 months of work and volume and production, like rehab, and try to make it happen in 24 hours or a week or a month. Or, freshman or sophomore, wherever you are, trying to improve your skill level and say, hey, I'm trying to get better at my position, and not wanting to go through the whole path required to actually get really good at that position. Because you can't get better in one practice in what it's going to take you a year to learn. Can't happen. We've got to make sure we get these. So what I call this is the 24 by 24 strategy. And that is 24 hours of urgency and focus by 24 months of patience and vision. Here's why I love this. It's because do you have any choice but to go minute by minute, hour by hour over the next 24 hours? Do you have any choice but to do that? No. Because the only time you're not going minute by minute and hour by hour is when? What's the only moment where that won't be your life? The only time is when you're dead. So unless you die, life is going to move forward at the exact same time and pace it always does, and there's nothing you and I get to do about it. It's 1 minute, 5 minutes, 1 hour, 24 hours. We have to sleep, maybe not as much as some of you guys. We got to sleep, but it's going to unfold about that. We're going to use every single minute for something, yes? It will be used on some activity. In the moments that we're using it in the activity, we have the choice of how to use that moment. What Nick is talking about is seeing that sense of urgency of this is what time does to us. When time compresses and we look at a 6-month window, we can see the urgency a little better because why? The time we have to look at is much smaller. But if I asked you to, hey, look out over the next 10 years of your life, Nick, and I want you to look at the next decade, and then I want you to be urgent. Well, that feels like a really long time. And it feels like you got some time to what? Each moment isn't so precious. Like it's not so tight that I've got to grab a hold of it. But when that gets compressed to 6 months, you see that ticking clock. So here's the second piece. What ultimately would make the next 24 months produce the things that you want? What would turn those 24 months looking backward into 24 months that went exactly the way that you wanted? Only when you use each 5 minutes and 24 hours really well, right? So this is the difference. What happens is when you start thinking of the next 24 months, tell me what happens in your head. 24 months even feels like a long time. We've got to make sure that we look at the blocking and tackling of the way life works. It only unfolds in that time frame each day, and the 24 months are gonna go by. What's the best way to get the most out of the next 24 months? It's be great in each 24 hours. Problems happen when you try to overextend the next 24 hours to either one, do too much, or two, when you think that you can give up these 24 hours and you're not urgent in them. Because what happens is this. You give up the next 24 hours thinking you have time, and then you blink. Where are my seniors? Who are the seniors in the room? When does sophomore year, freshman year, when does that feel like? And we hear this all the time. It feels like yesterday. It's like, dude, it's like I just got here. Because what happens is, I point this out, it's like we think we have all this time, and then 24 months goes by, and it's like, oh God, 24 months feels like so much work. It isn't. All you ever got to do is today. You're going to get a sleep, you're going to get a nap, you're going to wake up, and then you get to go after it again. So the really only question isn't about whether or not your mindset, Ricky, is going to be right on game one. The question is whether or not your mindset's going to be right from here until when you go to sleep. Because guess what? You can't manage tomorrow's mindset today. We can't deal with tomorrow's failures. We can't deal with tomorrow's successes yet. The only way we're going to be good with tomorrow's failures and successes is if we get our shit right today. I'm building myself now to prepare myself for the future whenever it gets here. But I don't want to be fighting some future I haven't even crossed yet. I just see this all the time. People giving up the next 2 years because they think they can't sustain it, and they don't do anything in these 24 hours because they just put their hands up. So rather than ask one or the other, every 5 minutes in 24 hours, we're driven by what? Urgency. And then whenever you look beyond the 24 hours, what do you tap into? So it's urgency now, and it's patience for everything beyond that, because the way patience adds up is when you add up hundreds, thousands of urgent actions, they collectively create a lot of great stuff. But we're going to talk a little bit about leadership in here. This is part of leading and building a culture and all of these different things, building a career. So much of what it takes to build a great career is putting together 1,000 great actions, and the only way you're going to get 1,000 great actions is by putting each one of them together, and you only get to do it once a day. Well, what's the minimum amount of time if it takes 1,000 reps to get good at something and you only get to get good at it, you only get to do it once a day? What's the minimum time it took if you did it every single day of your life? Talking like 3 years. And that's if you did it every day. So there are some things that take 5 years to build if you're urgent every 24 hours, and it's still going to take you 3 years. Thanks for watching this video. Remember to subscribe and click the bell for notifications so you don't ever miss a post.